Alright, so we're just going to look at the equation of a line. And we're looking at basically equations that have a slope. Now, there's a basic form that they take. So it's y equals mx plus b. Now, the m, which is the number in front of the x, that m, that we call that's called the gradient. So the number in front of the x is the gradient, and the gradient will always just affect the slope of the line. So it indicates to you which way that it is sloping. This other number, and I'm actually going to use not a B, I'm going to use a C because it's changed on our formula sheet now. So, all right. So if we look at that number there, okay, that number there, the C, is where it cuts the y-axis. So it's where your line cuts the y-axis, and it's called a y-intercept. Okay, so if you sketch like y equals 2x and minus 4, then what will be happening is it will cut the y-axis at minus 4, and it will have a slope or a gradient of 2. So if you sketch that quickly in Desmos, you'll see basically that that's the case. So it goes through minus 4 here, and the slope actually has to be 2. So that means for every one I go across, I have to go up 2. So it's going to be like the line will be approximately there. So every one I go across, I go up 2. Okay. So then if you have an equation like y equals 3x minus 1, then straight away we know that 3 will be your gradient, and your y-intercept, which is the B letter, C now, will be minus 1. If you have minus 2x plus 3, your gradient will be the minus 2, and your y-intercept would be the plus 3. And if you have 4x, and so you have absolutely nothing that's here, that means that you have no y-intercept, but your gradient's still the number that is in front of the x, which is the 4, and that number would be your gradient. And the y-intercept isn't there, so therefore it must be 0. So that's just finding the gradient and the y-intercept if you're given the basic equation. What I just want to have a look at now is if you are given the gradient and the y-intercept, can you then find the equation? Okay, so let's just say the gradient was equal to 4 and the y-intercept is y-intercept equals minus 6. Gradient, let's go, equals minus a half, and y-intercept equals minus 4. Okay, so if you wanted to get the equation, it would be y equals, then it's the gradient times x, so you can just write 4x, because 4 times x is just 4x, and then is plus minus 6. So y equals 4x minus 6. This next one, y equals minus a half x, and then plus minus 4. So that would be your equation. And if you had, let's say the gradient equals minus 4, and the y-intercept, where it cuts the y-axis, is just 0. Then your basic equation would be y equals minus 4x plus 0, or y equals minus 4